Okay, this is episode 13 of Was History Restarted. Last time, there was a very big war over here, probably the most important of the series so far. And basically, if you haven't seen it, then go watch it. But basically, Greece had a massive empire that was like all of this. But then all these countries around it kind of worked together to beat them up. And now they're gone. Cyprus especially wanted that because they lost the first Punic War against them, so they're very glad to get their revenge now. But it still, I guess, goes to show like how powerful Greece was, because we have like some of the most powerful countries in the world, being the Blue Team and Gibraltar, plus other pretty powerful ones like North Italy, Cyprus, Egypt, and Red Team, and even all of those countries combined still barely beat them. So yeah. But anyway, we're going to be starting this episode after there. First thing that we're going to look at is down here in like this sort of Horn of Africa region. Like that. And, well, after this, Egypt's spirits are high, and they're going to go ahead and try and take some more unclaimed land. A lot of this is mostly desert, but it's just nice to like make them look bigger, both like in universe and in our universe on this map, to show that they're pretty powerful. They were already pretty powerful before that major war, but now they're getting even stronger. Spirits are very high in Egypt, basically. They would definitely like another access point to the Mediterranean over here, but still have like neutral relations with this weird looking country, so they don't want to risk going to war with them just yet. And same thing with North Egypt. Another country that's been getting pretty powerful recently is Persia. I would say they probably have the highest GDP per capita out of any country right now, and so things are going pretty great for them. And they're going to continue just to expand out here. They're not doing any invading, just kind of going out here. So, after that big war with Greece, everyone's kind of looking to be a little bit more peaceful, for the most part. But, yeah. The Blue Team is not going to do any expanding, because, well, look at how big they are. They're, like, if they want to expand anymore, then they're going to have to, like, focus a lot first on really integrating, like, all of this area. And even like this, just to be sure that they don't collapse. One country that's maybe not so peaceful though is North France. They're going to decide that they want to go to war, and that's going to be with this country over here, because that's just their closest neighbor. They're a pretty weak, open-fielded country, I believe, so yeah. I mean, they are pretty weak. I'm pretty sure they're just mostly open fields. But anyway, North Italy goes in, pretty quickly captures the capital. It's kind of a tongue twister. And they're pretty much all these other countries are like, hey man, that's not chill, but they don't really care. And so, the people of this kind of goldish country are gonna have a decent idea. Basically, they're gonna move into this grayish one. And now they're like, so now the gray team kind of, unintentionally and peacefully gained land. France, I keep calling them North France, but North Italy is a little upset about this, but they aren't going to want to go to war with them. So instead, they're just going to finish off this country and annex it. Some of this land, though, is a little too open and has very low population density, so they are going to let some of it kind of just go. But still, most of the world is pretty peaceful now, so they're going to be focusing a lot more on exploring instead of going to war. And so, first of all, after there's going to be a lot more exploration just into Europe, which is good, because I feel like most of these kind of series by now have probably already filled in Europe, but Europe is still not really important at all yet. I guess North France is kind of the most important country here. I mean, North Italy. Sheesh. But anyway, the most important thing that happens in this exploration is that they find Great Britain. No new countries are set up here since there's still a lot of settlers moving up into these lands, so they can't really even think about moving up here yet. But it is still something that they know about now, that Britain exists. So just like that. We see also this Aral Sea country. They discovered this lake, so that's pretty good. They want to expand out there, but they're already pretty weak. But they're going to go ahead and try it anyway. And so they send out a lot of funding out here, just to take the land around it. And now their people are kind of unhappy because they had to raise taxes a lot to do this. And so, maybe unsurprisingly, we're going to see a rebellion take place up in this northern part. They swoop down here and take the capital. And we see another newish country, a new rebellion start here. And even the blue team gets in on this just to take this piece of land. But then they leave the war right after. And so now it's just these countries as they take all of this. This one's capital. Could be on the Aral Sea too. And as for the rest of this, obviously this isn't really part of them anymore. In this new country, they kind of want to not be associated with the old one, just in case these two still will be angry about that whenever their borders get closer. So they're going to make themselves a new country. So, rest in peace, Aral Sea country. In a way, it kind of migrated over here, but this is technically a new country. And yeah, just take lands around this lake. Continuing east, China is, they're very big. If we just, go ahead and kind of superimpose them over here, then you can see, even, I don't know how accurate the map projection is, but, they're definitely bigger than the blue team, and that's probably the second biggest country. Gibraltar is also pretty small compared to them, so yeah. It has almost the exact same color as this country. It's just slightly different, but that's fine. But China, this new dynasty, well, it's not really new at this point, it's probably pretty old, from that warlord from a while ago, is still not slowing down, as they take a giant chunk of land here. Now this is, it's kind of a turning point, because, well, now there is so much open land here and barely anyone lives here at all. It's, you can hardly even say it's part of their country. You can see here the border is kind of very round and not well defined, and that's because that's what it's actually like. So, yeah. Even with that, though, they still are going to be getting a new major city up here on the Philippines. And maybe one down here. We haven't really checked up down here in a while, in this sort of area. But this country is going to start to expand. I get out to over here. This one goes like this, and the pinkish one goes down here. We also see this country take all of this land. And yeah, a lot of filling in new land and exploration is happening now that a lot of countries are being more pacifist. This country goes out here. We see a new, kind of people inspired by the lake country. And going out here, they aren't bordering any lakes, but they still have, the same culture and are the same, descendants of the lake country. So, yeah. This one just takes a little bit more out here. Same with this one and this one. These two countries are actually going to go ahead and unite into one. And with that, they are going to get more land. And I'm making this color because this capital is also made into a major city, with this one being the new capital. Over here in Madagascar, this is kind of isolated over here, and it's not actually that peaceful. We can see this reddish one starts an invasion over into the grayish one, which goes over very well. They overtake the entire thing. They just don't annex the entire thing. They actually don't even take that much, just like, well, I guess they use like half, but still. And maybe some of this too. We go down here, take a lot of this coast. So the grayish one takes all this, and then a new guy forms down here. We're finally going to see something happen over here in the Americas, as Seattle is going to lead a very large exploration / expanding route down into California. Take the Bay Area, I think that's what that's called. Maybe. I mean, they don't take it, but they explore it. And with that, we're going to see some new people, both from Seattle, and the majority from tribes are going to be becoming a new country. This reddish one. And their capital's pretty much just, I want to say that's where San Francisco is. Because like LA's down here, I think. I'm not good at cities in California, but yeah. There's like San Diego. No, probably not there, but like somewhere. Sacramento's like up there, I think. But yeah, still like no completely new civilizations in here. But yeah, this country kind of is scared to go into the Amazon, so they don't. Instead, just kind of go on this northern coast, like Chile, but on the other side of the continent. And also, with Chile, it's with the Andes. With them, it's the Amazon. And this, I'm going to call them Gold Coast, because that's kind of where they are, even though they're not gold. The Gold Coast is like right there, I think. They are going to be taking more of this area, and like right below the Sahara. And yeah. We are also going to see something pretty major happen, which is over here in Australia. Some tribes and indigenous people are finally advanced into civilization stage. It's actually pretty big already. It's over here on this like northeastern tip, and it's And so now there's a country on every continent minus Antarctica. I haven't looked at India in a while, but honestly, not that much really happens here. I feel like this capital's bigger than it should be. So you know what? These other two countries see how big the capital is, so they're going to go ahead and say that's not cool. So they go ahead and invade up here. And this one does the same. And now the entire country falls over. And these guys take this. We do see another new one pop up. This kind of triangle sort of shaped one over here. Like, it's very vaguely triangular, but a little bit. And this river valley, though, is also going to be one of the new countries, one of the few, countries that go to war, this time invading Persia. Well, not big Persia, little Persia. But speaking of Persia, they have good relations with this country, so they're going to go ahead and expand down here, and then actually join this war on the side of little Persia. They now push in, and encircle, or cut off, I guess, a lot of these troops, and they get killed, and then the combined forces of these two countries march down here and take this major city. Once news of this reaches this country, they are going to be doing the same. And they go up here, and they take the capital. And from there, the country actually goes ahead and surrenders, because they know they aren't going to win, and they still want to exist. And that was probably a good idea, because if they just went on fighting until they were, gone, then they would probably be fully annexed by all these countries. But instead, they are just going to have a lot of land taken away. Mostly by Little Persia, who also gets that city. The blue team actually doesn't get that much of in this river valley, just this. Still, this is not great for the happiness of their people. Especially in the north up here, because, this originally wasn't even part of them. They took it over from another country. So, yeah. Anyway, Myanmar, whose color is too close to China's, so I'm going to slightly make it lighter. And that. They now fully explore the Malay Peninsula. And also look at all the sea around it. They don't go all the way down it, just like this. But, yeah. They work on going up to the coast of, like, Bangladesh. Kind of going into this rivery area. And they go over here to try and get, secure a better trade route with China. It's probably not going to go that well, though, because China is very focused on itself. And if anything, that's just making this country more easy to invade for China. They don't do it, though, because they are actually finally realizing that maybe they should stop expanding. So, yeah. The red team really wants to invade these countries because they're pretty weak, especially this blue one. But because of, peace and all that, they're worried that since a lot of these countries are kind of like the leading pacifists right now, they're worried that they're going to get a coalition on them, so they refrain. Hejaz is also kind of eyeing this country, but they do not have the same level of self-restraint as the red team, because they are going to go ahead and take the capital. And that's not going to go well, as red team will, of course, use this as an excuse to invade them. I'm saying that they're doing this for good, which all the other countries believe. And Cyprus is also going to join in for the same good. And they take the capital. The country pushes them out. The red team takes all of this. They move down this coast. And now all the countries around here are getting involved in this. Such as this desert one. And this greenish one. And now Hejaz is pretty not great right now. I'm gonna go ahead and revert this, take a look at the peace treaty. First of all, Cyprus is going to be getting a pretty good chunk of this coast on the Red Sea. The red team gets some of this more inland portion. Light blue team gets their capital. Desert gets all of this, including this major city. And this country gets this. So, yeah. But Hejaz, the people of Hejaz are kind of, they aren't really ready to not to be a country anymore. So, what they do is that they go ahead and sail away and land down here and make new Hejaz. Really great idea. I know. So anyway, New Hejaz is just kind of chilling here, and none of the other countries bother to actually invade them. Also, this country doesn't have a capital. But yeah, they're just down here. Cyprus, finally, I kind of forgot about them, is going to go ahead and expand up into some of this land they lost, as they now take a slower and more methodical approach, so that they don't instantly lose it again. They go up all the way to this and take the entire rest of the Adriatic. And now they're going to do something which is very interesting. They're going to go, since all these other countries are now very pacifist, and they're kind of pretending to be pacifist, they're going to go ahead and send some ships over here, These just look like regular trade ships. But they're going to go ahead and land on this island, Sardinia, and yeah, they take it over. And they, do a pretty good job at secluding it so that other countries don't even know that anything happened. Yeah, but that did happen. Also, over here, this new Italian state was just kind of set up, but everyone knew it wasn't going to work because the Italian kingdoms were still a thing. It didn't go as badly as everyone would think, though, because it just kind of splits off into the north and south. But Cyprus is still not happy with what they've taken, especially because of how far away it is. So, because this country does have a little sea access there, they're going to send over some spies into the capital of this country who kill the leader and the second most important person in the government. And now that the country's kind of in a power vacuum and kind of goes into anarchy, and Cyprus is going to be like, hey, this country's, all the people are killing each other and there's barely any laws, so it's only right for us to take it so we can stabilize it. All the countries kind of agree to this. Maybe some of them not as much as others, but they do it. Now they have this. And yeah, so Cyprus, after taking all this Greek land, is really expansionist now, which doesn't go great because now they have the blue team, the red team, Egypt, and North Italy. They all border them, and that would not go great if they were to fight a war against all of them. The blue team alone is stronger than them. So, they're going to do something very similar, just to a lesser extent. Basically, their first target is the blue team, since they're the most powerful. They just go ahead, they send special spies into the capital. They then murder, not the leader, but maybe the second most important person. And this is just to make it more unstable, as they also frame it on being the people over here that the blue team just united with. So, some of the people start to be kind of racist toward them. And pretty quickly, it kind of seems like the blue team might be getting a little more unstable, which is exactly what they hoped for. Yeah. Finally, though, we see more exploration up here in North Africa as they go further into the desert and find more desert. But some countries don't care and are going to expand anyway, such as this one. Gibraltar also has a vote, and people up here vote to separate from the country. And we're not going to put their capital just yet, because they first of all are going to pretty quickly take all this unclaimed land, and then they also buy this off of Gibraltar, put their capital up there in Galicia, I don't know how you say it, but yeah. And just as the last thing, we see some of those settlers start to actually form into countries, and there's a few to start off. So first of all, we have Normandy / Brittany, who also take some of Cornwall. I know I said that they weren't even going to think about invading, or not invading, taking land in the British Isles, but that's mostly but that was a good couple decades ago by this point. So their capital's right here. This country is going to be kind of weird because it's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but they decide that this is a nice place for a country, so they're going to have one there. Pretty similar thing with this country over here in the sort of Transylvania, kind of, roughly. And yeah, Cyprus is, of course, going to continue doing their whole destabilizing missions, mostly in the red team, blue team, and North Egypt, and a little bit North France, as well as Egypt. But yeah, and that is probably going to be it for this episode. as we can see, the map is starting to get more filled in, as most countries, other than like Cyprus and China, are pretty peaceful now. So, yeah. But maybe because of that peacefulness, there could be some countries that kind of use that to their advantage to get more land. But yeah, goodbye.